Hello, football fans, and welcome back to Madden 24. In this episode, I'm going to play the New Orleans Saints at home here with the Orlando Panthers. Now, I am going with the uniforms that the team is wearing this year, so even though this is a home game, we evidently are slated to be wearing our white uniforms, so I will be wearing those in-game. As you can see, the game is already diverging quite a bit from reality. New Orleans in the game lost when they actually won their first week's game in reality. And the Carolina Panthers lost their first week game while I went ahead and won. Talking about the Panthers a little bit, I am not that upset about the fact that we lost because I actually did see quite a few good things in the game. The reality is, I fully expect this to be a very rough year for Carolina, and that's okay. They've got a bunch of rookies. They're trying to build a team for the future here. So I'm not expecting us to make it to the playoffs. I'm definitely not expecting a Super Bowl run or anything like that. I would be quite shocked if any of those things happened. And quite frankly, I sort of don't want it to happen because I think that the team needs to rebuild. I think we need to take one step at a time to get to where we want to be. So, yes, we lost the game against Atlanta there, but overall, I think it was a fairly good game. The two interceptions that Bryce Young had are troubling to a point, but at the same time, interceptions are going to happen, and really, I have to say that the Falcons made some great plays on those two passes. It was not that Bryce Young was really off with his passes. He's just young, and he needs to be able to understand the defense a little bit more than he does. As far as in the game, I sort of have a problem now with the fact that Brian Burns is out for a while with an injury. That wasn't something I expected, and that's going to really hurt my defense quite a bit. I have moved some players around, so hopefully I will have a better pass rush than I did after Burns got injured last week. But that's something I'm going to really have to see, and I'm just going to have to adapt to because I'm going to be without him for a large portion of the season. With that being said, I'm somewhat still troubled over the fact that I got rid of Matt Corral. At the same time, though, the one thing I will say about having done that trade is I do like the fact that he's over with the Patriots in case they decide to use him in game, just like they might use him in the real life. So it is accurate in that way, but it does trouble me because things are going to diversify between the game and reality. Brian Burns, as far as I know, is not injured in the real world where he is on my team. It just happens. There's nothing I can do about that. But with that being said, one last thing. I mean, the biggest piece of news in football this week is definitely the Aaron Rodgers situation. And I have to say, yeah, my team lost, but I actually do feel better about my situation than I would if I was a Jets fan. They did win their game, but the cost for them is a big one. They spent all this money and all this time on getting Aaron Rodgers, and then he's injured in the very first drive of the season. And he's going to be out for the entirety of the season. That's a tough pill for them to swallow. And so I do feel bad for them, but I guess we'll just have to see how that goes for them moving forward. For me, let's go ahead and jump into this week's game and see how we do against the New Orleans Saints.
It's week 2 of the National Football League, and we'll see Chris Olave. It was a nice line for him a week ago, reaching the century mark and scoring a touchdown. It's the Saints and the Panthers under the lights on Monday night.
Now from the so-called City Beautiful and home to the Madden studios, this is EA Sports coverage of the National Football League from Orlando, Florida. Tonight it's the first of 2 here on this Monday night, as it'll be the New Orleans Saints taking on the Panthers of Orlando. Alongside Charles Davis, I'm Brandon Gaudin. And Charles, we look at this Panther ball club as they enter play here. They were winners last time out, so they'll be looking, Charles, to make it 2 in a row.
And what I enjoyed when I watched their game tape and their victory last week is they put it together in every phase. Good offense, good defense, and some key plays on special teams. Let's see if they can get that second win in a row.
Meanwhile, for the visiting Saints, they were losers their last time out. They're going to try to get back in the win column, but obviously they're going to have to do that in a hostile environment.
And sometimes that actually works to your advantage. Now you've got to band together your team the us against the world mentality. Let's see if they can use it and get a victory.
So here are the Panthers now for their opening drive. And they will be led out by a guy certainly still trying to prove himself here in the league, the young rookie quarterback.
And there's a word that constantly gets thrown around with this guy when you talk to anyone in the building. Potential. They are sky high on what they believe he can grow into in the role of a starting quarterback. In addition, there are plenty around the league who think that as well. And years from now, he can still be leading this offense out.
A man who joined the Panthers from the NFC champs, it's Miles Sanders. And he'll get what he can up the middle, 3 yards. That'll bring up second down. The numbers for Sanders last week, pretty good as he found himself in the end zone on 2 separate occasions.
And those are the most important numbers because no matter what you pile up prior to the goal line, getting in is all that matters. Putting those numbers up on the board, and they love them when they're 6s.
97.
They'll play fake. Now Young. They'll roll him out right. It's just a gain of a couple there on the scramble, and now it's third down. Now we get a look at their most recent draft class, and you need to get real familiar with some of these names here because this front office thinks that these are going to be guys that have an impact for them on Sundays for years to come.
I think you're exactly right about that. And what I know about this group doing the drafting, it's not all about instant value when they put their class together. They wanted every pick to be somebody they see as a starter. Maybe not today, but someone they can develop to make him one within the first couple of seasons. How about their strategy? All about long-term upside, and they added a ton of it this spring.
The Panthers at 1-0 on the year following the win in Week 1, and they were able to get that road victory in the opener, and now they look to get to 2-0 in front of the home crowd.
And look, any road win in the NFL, that's huge. But when you do it Week 1, that gets you pointed in the right direction and sends notice to the rest of the league that you mean business.
And a missed tackle there as he pushes forward for a gain of 4. And you look at this Saints defense, they're going to be tough to throw on, no doubt. Currently ranked 3rd in the NFL against the pass.
Yeah, defending the pass hasn't been an issue for them. It's been stopping the run. And if they don't stop the run, they can't get back to their strength, which is guarding against the air attack.
Second down, back to Sanders. And he's going to take this across the 50 and into Saints territory.
A quick burst there, and he nicely bit off a pretty decent gain.
Heavy set out there on 3rd and 1. They'll try and run for it with Sanders. And a strong run there as he'll take this all the way down to the 35. Give him 15 there, and the Panthers have a first down. You were telling me this yesterday. That's exactly what they want to do on the opening drive, establish the ground game.
Yeah, remember our conversation we were talking about with one of the GMs in the league has told me repeatedly, it's a big man's game, and it's not necessarily size. He's talking about playing some big boy football. Line up, get leverage, knock people back, and establish the run early.
On 1st and 10, it's Sanders. And a solid run down inside the 30. It's a 6-yard gain on the ground, and that'll make it 2nd and 4.
That's a strong pickup right there on first down. And as this drive goes on, we're seeing an offensive line and running game imposing its will.
2nd down and 4. They'll try to throw now. Young. And Sharp calls it in. And he gets it all the way down inside the 10 and mark him at the 5. Call that a very strong gain of 24.
A lot of precision being shown on this opening drive. They've been methodical, they've been crisp, and as a reward, they're going to be set up with an early 1st and goal.
A terrific opening drive has them knocking on the door, 1st and goal. Young keeps it, moving right.
And he'll get this one back to the 5-yard line, but no further than that.
No gain there as he kept it himself at second down. Well, for that being an option play, there really weren't too many options available for him, were there?
No, there weren't, and at least he was able to get back to the line of scrimmage, so he didn't lose anything, but you're exactly right. Nowhere to go.
And he gets halfway there from the 4 to the 2 on a gain of 2. Driven it down the field nicely here on the opening drive, and now it's put up or shut up.
No doubt about it, because to make that type of a drive and ultimately kick a field goal would feel very disappointing. But I'm just wondering, is the head coach thinking, is this 4-down territory? Might he go for it?
Losing 2 yards that time, and now it's 4th down. So Young will head to the sideline, and on is Pinheiro for the Panther field goal.
This will be just a 21-yard attempt.
The kick by Pinheiro is good. So a long drive gets him down inside the 5, but ultimately they settle for just the field goal.
And I have to think that if maybe they were a yard closer, that would have made their decision tougher, and I think they likely would have gone for it. But in this situation, they just decided to take the 3, and I think it was a smart move.
And they'll put up the stop sign there as his guys will get it at the 25. And here come the Saints for their opening drive. They're led out by their quarterback out of Fresno State, Derek Carr.
He had the numbers of a game last week that if you win, you talk about him being a gritty guy, managing the game, getting it done. But they lost. So obviously 2 interceptions, 1 touchdown pass, that's not going to be good enough. Got to get that changed around.
Carr going to lead the Saints up here 1st and 10 at their own 25-yard line. They'll come out throwing here to start the drive. And his throw is going to be incomplete. Look at this defense. Currently number 1 in the NFL against the run.
And that's a ranking that feels good, right? To be number 1 and be the top of your profession. But here's the problem. It's only week 1.
1 week, yeah.
Can they do it 15 more times? If so, then we really got something to talk about.
That's the challenge. Carr will try it again on 2nd down. And he'll get this one underneath to Kamara. And he's going to be dropped following a pickup of 7 past the 30 to the 32. Well, this defense for the Panthers, terrific last week in the season opening victory.
Yeah, they held them to well under 200 yards of total offense, and in today's NFL, that's a feat to be proud of, especially with the emphasis on offense and what we're seeing each and every week, that great creativity and usual.
Oh, and now some space to operate. And he's going to be brought down on what will be the final play of this first quarter. 3-0 after 1 on EA Sports. The Saints with a football here to begin quarter number 2 as they've got it with a 1st and 10. Carr going to throw. He gets this one complete to Traquan Smith. And a 6-yard gain gets him right around the 43. Line of scrimmage, the 43 on 2nd and 4. Throwing now is Carr. Now a quick throw there, but it's going to be incomplete.
Had an open man that time, but ended up putting a little too much heat on it, don't you think, partner?
Absolutely, just needed a touch more air under it. Instead, he fired an absolute bullet. Now they face a 3rd down and 4 after that incompletion on 2nd down. Here's Carr to throw. Pressure comes in. He's brought down. It's a Panther sack. Yetur Gross-Matos getting in there to make the play.
And that was just absolute perfect man coverage. Nowhere for them to go with the football. Led to a sack. And that's really difficult to do in today's NFL with all these gazelles running around that you're trying to cover in the secondary.
Blake Gillikin on to punt now on 4th down. He'll get off a fairly short kick here as this is toward the sideline. And this is going to be ruled out, I think, just inside the 20. Yes, it will. Side judge calls it at the 19-yard line. The Panthers coming back out onto the field for their 2nd drive. Early on, you know, Charles, every game could be called a measuring stick game. But I think when it comes within your division like this, it's a measuring stick game with a little extra intrigue.
I would agree with that totally because all division games have a little extra to them. But I like where this game is situated because at this stage of the season, it has that little extra juice. But at the same time, it's not a make or break if this were, let's say, week 15, 16, somewhere in that neighborhood.
Second down, back to Sanders. And brought down, but not before reaching the 45-yard line. 58 yards on the ground for him now on 9 carries.
I'm not sure how much more evidence they need, partner, than to understand that if they don't start to slow him down, it's going to be a long afternoon here at the stadium because he is just shredding them at this point. And let's face it, coming into the game, they knew he would be the focal point of their attack. This is going to take an 11-man unit on the defensive side to start making plays.
Short throw there, caught by Thomas.
And that's good for a pickup of 10 yards. And that'll leave him with a second and just a few inches left.
And coaches always harp on the quarterback reading the defense and getting it to the open man. That's good recognition there. And how about what he did after the catch?
Yeah, hit your tight end, let him get some rack.
Yeah, when he gets moving, not many guys want to come over and put a hit on him, do they?
And he's out of bounds, almost gets to the 10. A big play on the catch and run, covering 34 yards.
I would say just add that one to the total of big plays he's already made here in the first month of the year. You've got to think the front office and the coaching staff have got to be excited about what they've seen so far and really excited about what they expect to see down the road.
Working with the lead, trying to get to 2-0. Here's 1st and 10. Up the middle they go with Sanders. And a pickup of about 4 down inside the 10 to the 8-yard line.
Not a run that you're going to write home about, but still a good first down run. That's what an offense calls staying on schedule. 3 to 4 yards on first down, you're set up very well for the rest of the drive.
And he will take it across for Panthers touchdown. Miles Sanders, his 3rd rushing touchdown of the year. And the Panthers are able to widen their advantage.
2 good drives on their first 2 possessions. Remember, the first wound up in a field goal, but we all know field goals aren't going to cut it in the NFL. So they're not going to be denied here, and they wound up punching this one into the end zone.
Eddie Pinheiro now for the extra point. It's up and good, and that'll increase their lead to 10-zip. A drive that time of 6 plays, and it was Miles Sanders who finished it off with a touchdown run. Set now to kick this one away, and off it goes. And it'll come out to the 25 as he will not attempt to return. New Orleans Saints, they get ready to set up shop for their 2nd drive. Nothing for them yet from an offensive standpoint, down 10-zip as they come up 1st and 10. Now Carr. And the throw left sideline here is caught, but they'll rule it incomplete. Couldn't keep his feet in. 2nd down.
To this point, I've been impressed with the work defensively. They have not allowed a lot of receivers to run free. And there's another example, another incompletion.
So the incompletion, and now it's 2nd and 10, again from the 25-yard line. Here's Carr. Nowhere to go here. He lost the football, and it's picked up by the Panthers. And they will take over with a football just outside of the 10 at the 12-yard line. And now, meanwhile, after the dust settles on the fumble, we've got an injured player here as well. So as the medical staff takes a look, we'll step aside. From down at the 12, it's 1st and 10. Young now after the fumble recovery. And he's got it. Touchdown, Panthers. Tommy Tremble, his first touchdown here of the new campaign. And the Panthers are able to strike quickly to add on to their lead. His first career touchdown pass, and yeah, it's cliche to say, but he's probably been envisioning this since he was a little kid. That's a cool moment.
It really is. So enjoy the moment, enjoy the time, celebrate, save the full reflection for later, but make sure you grab someone on the sidelines and say, hey, make sure I get that football, okay?
Piñeiro's extra point up and good. And that makes our score 17-0. Out is the kickoff unit as they run up and send this one away. And they'll put up the stop sign there as his guys will get it at the 25. Out onto the field comes New Orleans. And we don't want to call this desperation time, especially in the second quarter, but you're down.
You don't want to.
I know, but let me finish.
Okay, my bad.
You're down 3 scores already. You've done nothing offensively, nothing on the scoreboard. That's not a good combination.
I think you just called it desperation time. I think you did. But let's face it, you mentioned this to me in a break earlier in the game. The energy level hasn't been there right from the start. We've noticed that. They've got to find a way to get on their toes and start punching instead of retreating, to use a boxing analogy.
2 minutes remaining in this first half of football. They'll come up now 2nd and 4 from the 31. Working from the gun, it's Carr. Throwing for Smith on the out route, and it's caught. They're going to need to get up and set in a hurry. On first down, Carr. Throwing out right here, caught by Olave. And he's able to take it across midfield before going out of bounds. So 5 yards here, 5 on the play, and it'll be 2nd down. Now Carr. Out of the backfield, that's complete to Kamara. And he's got this down a yard or 2 shy of the 40 before he's out of bounds. 7 yards there and a first down.
And a nice gain and a broken tackle along the way, and really we shouldn't be surprised, should we? That's what runners do, especially the best ones. They break tackles and gain extra yardage.
Now here's a pass on first down that's knocked away and incomplete.
Well, they've been back on their heels a little bit here in this drive, but a chance to exhale just a little bit there with incompletion on first down. Now they have to gear up, try and get 2 more stops, and escape this drive.
Now it's Kamara in the passing game. That helps the completion percentage, but not much else, and now it's 3rd and 10.
Give them the completion, no gain, but let's focus in on that tackle. Open field tackling, the hardest thing to do in the game, I believe.
But when you get outside the tackle box, it becomes a numbers game. Oh, he tries to force it in, and it's intercepted. Picked off by J.C. Horn. And the Panthers are going to take possession here at their own 33.
Partner, I think this one won't arrive very simply because he overestimated his arm strength and his ability to fit it anywhere he wants to. A lot of quarterbacks do that and often pay the price.
This offense returns to the field, and the former Penn State star Miles Sanders, we get a look at him. It may just be the second quarter, but he's in his zone, well on his way to eclipsing that 100-yard mark.
And when a back has a game, as we're witnessing right now, his name's going to be in the books, but it's really a collective deal, isn't it? Because that means he's getting plenty of blocking, a lot of help from his teammates, but he's making the most of it.
Yeah, he's made the most of it to this point. So the big play nullified, a legal forward pass.
And maybe we know why they were able to get such a good chunk of yardage on that play. That pass was illegal.
So the illegal forward pass also costs him a down, and now it's 2nd and long. From the shotgun, it's Young. And this, incomplete. He tried to check it down to his running back and nearly had the ball picked.
Well, partner, guaranteed they approach this play with the idea of making up ground to make 3rd down manageable. Unfortunately, with that incompletion, right back where they started on the last snap. Now they need a big 3rd down play in order to pick up the yardage needed.
The Saints going to call the first of their timeouts. And they'll indeed stop him on third down. And now what do you want to do with your timeouts? On is the punter, Hecker, as he gets this one away. Fair catch signaled for and taken just shy of the 30-yard line. A 40-yard punt, no return. And the Saints will take over with a first down and 10. First and 10 here. You know, if they could just get 3 out of this, there's something about narrowing it to a 2-score game at half that makes it feel like much less of an obstacle. He'll be hit down at the 33, 5 yards on the play. Now we'll get a quick timeout called by New Orleans, number 2, as they'll stop it with 25 seconds to go here in half number 1. Back to Kamara for another catch. Now the Saints will use their third and final timeout. And with halftime on the horizon, they'll be out of timeouts from here forward. Throwing on first down is Carr. A throw out wide, going to be incomplete.
Well, this defense is certainly organized and playing off of each other because the rush is providing pressure and the coverage is forcing incompletions and capitalizing on mistakes. When you get every level on defense hitting it once, you get first half.
And now the ball's out. Carr lost it. Fumble. Oh, one of the linebackers has got it. The big fella. He's to the 15. And he takes it into the end zone. It's a fumble recovery and a touchdown for the Panthers. Well, Charles, not only did they fumble the football, but they're starting to fumble away their chances here a little bit. We've got a 3-score ball game now here in the first half.
And the last thing you want to do, partner, is help the other team with what are avoidable turnovers. You want to hang on to the football because you're already playing against a good team. You're just making it easier for them by giving them extra opportunities.
Pinheiro now to add the extra point. And the lead is now 24. So not only the cough up, but then the pickup on the other side, the scoop, and the score the other way. The fumble return for a touchdown. Four seconds, all that remain here in this first half as the kick gets away. So we're at halftime here on a Monday night as we'll send you cross town to our studios here in Orlando and check in with the coach at our EA Sports Halftime Report.
All right, Brandon, thanks very much. We'll get back to you and Charles in a minute. But first, time to give the folks at home a look at what's going on around the NFL. We'll get started over at Mercedes-Benz Stadium in downtown Atlanta, where it was the Falcons who were able to pick up the victory at home. Bijan Robinson, 2 touchdown runs to lead the way. From there, we're off to check out another game. And they were losers in that one to the visiting New York Giants. Daniel Jones, 3 touchdown passes as his guys bounced back from the defeat on opening weekend. Finally, let's get to Philadelphia. Check on the Eagles at home at Lincoln Financial Field. And they were winners in that one over the visiting Minnesota Vikings. Jalen Hurts, couple of touchdown passes as his guys win their 2nd straight to start the year. What a treat to watch the rookie in that first half. The number 1 overall pick, Bryce Young. He's got a touchdown through the air as his guys have raced out to a gigantic early lead.
All right, Coach, thank you very much. As we welcome you back for quarter number 3. The Saints going to go on offense first, and they trail here as we begin quarter number 3. And we will not have a run back here as the second half starts with a touchback. Out come the Saints now. They'll go on offense first here to begin the third quarter. And that first half, one to forget really on both sides of the ball. They got to find some way to string something together here, don't they?
Yeah, they're down big right now. So as you mentioned, trying to find something to string together, get some consistency, something sustained, maybe calm their whole team down. and find a way to get back in this one.
Yeah, because right now you're down big, you're being shut out. Let's see if this is the drive that kind of kickstarts them. But despite the completion, they're going to wind up losing 3 there. Second down. Got to give some credit there defensively. They snuffed out that screen early on first down.
Really read it well, didn't they? Because they didn't bring the pressure that they expected. They covered all the passing lanes. So once you see it break down as the passer, I think in this situation, you're either throwing it at the feet of your back to make sure no one picks it up, or you throw it away, throw it over the sideline. Don't try and freelance and try and make a bigger play. There's really no one else running a pattern that should be open.
Well, we talk all the time about playing situational football, and right now I think the scoreboard is dictating what they need to do. Where they are in this game, they've got to push the ball downfield, take their shots, try and get big chunks of yardage in a short amount of time. That was a nice play there.
We saw this a lot in the first half, and it continues. These receivers just not able to get much separation.
So that means they have to win the 50-50 balls. They've got to go up with the defender and find a way to start coming down with them.
And this time, contact and another incomplete pass. Now, Carr again. Throwing quickly there, but it's incomplete.
Let's face it, if you want to get back into the game, these are the kind of throws you got to hit. He's wide open right there. Got to be able to get it to him, don't you think?
And those are the throws that haven't been available to them every time he's dropped a pass. Yeah, that's a big miss. Throwing his Carr on third down. And incomplete. They tried to drop it off, but he couldn't hold on.
As soon as he leaped out and began his route, someone on the defensive side broke with him and arrived just in time to separate him from another reception.
Here comes the Saints punter now, as he'll kick it away for the second time. This is taken at about the 14. 43-yard punt, but they get 9 back on the return. And it will be the Panthers' ball, 1st and 10. Now we take a glance at the offense as they work their way back out for their first possession of the second half. And they'll come out with a 3 tight end look on the first play of the drive. On play action, Young. Short throw to the tight end Thomas. And this will go as a gain of 7 as he gets it to the 30-yard line.
So much goes into a successful play, doesn't it? How about that play action there, freezing the defense just enough to bring the tight end free downfield for the completion.
It's a second down run with Sanders. And they'll stop him after a gain of a couple to the 33. Pretty good job defensively. Thought he was going to get it, but they knew where that marker was, and they stopped him just short of it.
What it does is emphasize that strategic football and situational football is not just played on the offensive side, is it? Defense understanding, as you noted, where the first down marker was and making sure they didn't get there.
And he is going to have the Panthers first down as they're able to get the third down conversion. He's turning in a pretty impressive performance running the football, and a big reason why they have this nice lead.
And in days gone by, we would clip this out and put it up on the refrigerator, wouldn't we? Clip out the box score. Nowadays, not too many newspapers out there. Maybe you screenshot it online.
Three tight ends in the ball game here on 1st and 10. They'll go again with Sanders. And he maneuvers up the middle for 3. And it's second down.
Holding offense.
So that time they got the left guard with a hold.
And let's face it, in today's ball, you might have that 330-pound guy you're supposed to clear out of there. You might need a little bit of extra help by grabbing the jersey and trying to ride him out.
They'll run with Sanders up the middle. And he'll get maybe a couple, if that, up to the 46.
He's definitely tough to get down. We just saw it right there. But how about what we did see? Pursuit, wrap up, and then the big finish with the tackle.
Out of the gun, it's Young. That's caught by Mingo, right side. And he's out of bounds as he gets this down to the 45. They'll wind up getting 10 back there as it'll leave them with a 3rd and 5.
What I love about watching the passing game nowadays is that the one-dimensional receiver is really starting to leave the game. You've got to be able to do it all. Of course, you got to run fast. Of course, you got to catch the ball. But route running savvy and toughness,
There's a premium for all of that now.
And he is going to have a Panthers first down. He needed 5. He got it barely, as it will officially go down as a gain of 5 yards.
Caught that look from you there, partner. I think we're on the same page on that one. Just his first catch. I think we both thought he'd be a little more active in the passing game. Let's see if that's the start of them trying to get the ball to him a little bit more here in the second half.
A nice burst there as they'll get about 7 that time on the first down run.
Looks to me like maybe there's a little attrition setting in with this drive, because when you see that type of a run, I get the feeling the defense gets a little bit tired.
And that's the last thing they need, especially when they look up at the scoreboard. Young off the play fake. That's complete to the receiver, Thielen. And this is going to be another first down as the tackle's made at the Saints' 23.
And while we may be looking at the scoreboard, this offense certainly is not, because they're showing no signs of backing down, even with a 3-score lead here in the third quarter. I think they keep taking their shots. They've seen blown leads happen throughout this league. They don't want to fall victim to it themselves.
Young going to get this complete, meanwhile, to Sanders. And he'll go out of bounds in the red zone just inside the 20. Give him a gain of 5 on the completion, and that's going to bring up second down. They go back to the ground with Sanders. And able to get him down, but he does reach the 5. The pickup goes for 13 and sets him up first and goal. It'll be first and goal when we come back. You're watching the NFL on EA Sports. Welcome back live to Orlando. A lot of happy faces in the crowd at this point as their guys have a big lead here to start quarter number 4. Young working out of the gun. He's got it for a Panther touchdown. Jonathan Mingo with his first career NFL touchdown. And the Panthers are on their way to a 2-0 start. So I tell you what, Charles, I know that you don't put a ton of stock into power rankings and things of that nature, but another score here, and 2 weeks into the season, this is maybe the most impressive team in the NFL. Would you agree?
Well, they've certainly sold me as they've sold you, and I agree with you, no question about it. They won easily last week. They're on their way to another lopsided victory here. They're definitely a team to be reckoned with, and they are serving notice to the rest of the league.
Piñeiro's extra point up and good. And this one was over a while ago as they just add on to that big lead. And they'll put up the stop sign there as his guys will get it at the 25. The New Orleans offense set to take over. Well, it's been a struggle so far for this offense, Charles. It's not only that they haven't been able to put the points up, but really stringing yards together has been a real issue for them in this one.
I'm so glad you brought up the yardage, because I was thinking to myself, we've seen a lot of NFL games, and we've seen our share of lopsided contests, but in almost all of them, both offenses have put up at least 200 yards in a game, but not in this one. This has been a display of offense that, frankly, I think the two of us have watched from behind our hands, trying to spread our fingers wide enough to actually see the result.
Back to the air on second down. It's Carr. That's complete to his running back, Kamara. And not much to speak of. Call it a 1-yard gain up to the 26. One thing I think that's safe to say defensively, the tackling's been really good.
And because of that, it's been very, very hard for them to move the ball, because you're not getting the benefits of run after catch. They're tackling them almost on the spot. That means you have to run extra plays, harder to move it.
Now throwing on third down there, but he cannot connect.
And that's another play that's painted the picture of this game overall. It's been a blowout. It's been continually fueled by big turnovers and stops for one side, and an inability to advance the ball from the other.
And they're indeed going to go for it here on fourth down. So trailing here in the last quarter, let's see how this plays out. Now Carr, got to have this one. Work in the middle of the field, and he's got a man complete. And they get him down, but not before he takes it across the 40-yard line. Again, it's Carr. Again, it's Johnson. And he's going to get this down to the 35-yard line. Back-to-back receptions for him, and it's another first down. Now a play fake. Carr. Oh, he had a man open. He overshot him. It's incomplete. Now Carr, after the incomplete pass, brings him up 2nd and 10. Back to throw again. His throw incomplete. This offense was on the move. Now 2 straight incompletions have them looking at 3rd and 10. Play action. Now it's Carr. Nowhere to go here. He lost the football. Oh, and one of the linemen on the other side has got it. Offensively lucky they're able to keep the football, but now 4th down, so they'll have to boot it away.
I do think, though, they're going to look at this as a positive. 1, they recovered the fumble, so they retained possession. But 2, being able to punt it changes field position for them. Imagine if that turnover takes place there. Now your defense has to go onto the field and try and hold. Instead, they get a little breathing room.
All right, they're going to try and keep hope alive here on 4th down. They're going for it. They'll go for it. It's Carr. He lets it go deep for Olave. And this one is incomplete. The Saints' decision to go for it backfires. And the Panthers will get the football back. Well, their first 4th down attempt earlier was successful. This one backfires for a turnover on downs.
I like their aggressiveness. I like what they're doing. They got it the first time they went for it. Why not a second time? I don't think they'll be daunted from attempting it again. If you're on the defensive side of the ball, though, any 4th down stop is a big momentum play.
They go play action. Young. He's got Mingo. And they're able to work this to the 25 before it's all said and done. It'll go as an impressive 31-yard gain.
And this has been the story all night long. They just came out firing and have not backed off, even with the big 4th quarter lead. There's another completion for big yardage.
They'll run. It's Sanders. And he can only manage to get a couple. 2nd and 8 coming up.
Brandon, I've got to think this offensive line has got some smiles on its faces. And I know it sounds crazy, but they practiced for this back in training camp. They knew they'd be in situations where there'd be extra defenders in the box coming after them, trying to keep them from locking down a game. Right now, they want to show the world they're up to the challenge.
He is taken down at the 21 after a short gain of 2. 2 yards on the first down carry, and then followed up by 2 yards on the second down carry.
Well, that's definitely not going to be enough to get the job done. Wasn't the expression 3 yards in a cloud of dust?
Now they're going to need 6 on 3rd down to keep the drive going. Just 2 minutes remaining here in the 4th quarter of what has been a one-sided affair. So it's Panther football as we welcome you back. They've got a 3rd down now as they look for one more first down to help salt this one away. They are in need of 6 yards here if they hope to move the chains. Now the Panthers going to use the first of their timeouts. That'll leave them with 2 remaining. We'll be back after this. In need of a conversion on 3rd down. They had the big play to start the drive. Not much sense. A play fake. Now Young. Rolling to his right. Able to make something out of nothing there. 17 yards and a first down.
Brandon, that's a gamer move right there. Facing third down, steps up, calls his own number, and nearly makes the house call. If I'm the coach, I let him take another one right here. Give him a chance to be the first one to hit the end zone after that effort he just gave him.
They come out with one back and 3 tight ends. Sanders is into the end zone for a Panthers touchdown. So how about this start to a year? Fantasy owners take note. 2 rushing touchdowns in the opener. 2 more here in week 2.
So a nice pickup by 2 entities. 1, this team for making sure they acquired this guy. And 2, anyone who plays fantasy who has him on their team.
Pinheiro now to add the extra point. And he's been a busy man, 5 for 5 now as he knocks another one through to extend the lead. 5 plays there on that drive. And it was Miles Sanders who finished it off with a touchdown run. The kickoff team on the field now as they will send this one away. And this will not be returned. It's a touchback, and they'll begin at the 25. The New Orleans offense back out and ready to go. Well, I hate to say it, but at this point, I don't really know that they're playing to win with this deficit in the fourth quarter. They're just trying to erase that 0 on the scoreboard, Charles, and get some type of momentum to carry into the film session tomorrow.
If you get any type of points on the board, it'll count as a moral victory, although no one will talk about that in the post-game press conference. That's not something you mention in the NFL. And this loss, it already stings and will for a while. But everyone on that offense knows it'll sting a lot worse if they don't put some points up on the board.
On play action, it's Carr. And this throw incomplete. Well, the defender all over him that time, but it's going to lead to third down. Well, the trials and tribulations of being a quarterback in this league, it's tough. It's got to be wearing on him out there.
Well, he has been sacked a number of times. He had an interception, so I'm going to give him a skosh of credit.
The Panther rush too strong. They get there and take him down. He could not get away that time, and it'll be a loss of 11 on third down.
But when this game is done, the credit will go to the consistent pressure on the quarterback as a huge cause of this win. Most teams are happy if they get a few of these games per year. You know they're going to watch this tape over and over, try to identify what's working, and keep it going.
Here comes the Saints punter now as the drive goes backwards, so he's on to punt it away. And a fair catch taken back near about the 35, 36-yard line. So possession goes over here on the punt. And the Panthers will take over now, 1st and 10. Orlando takes back over on offense. Well, they don't need to score here, that's for sure. They could just kneel it. They've got the huge lead late fourth quarter, but we'll see how they're feeling, Charles.
Yeah, we all know people out there who like to use every second of the clock, no matter what the score. And we know they don't need the points. They've scored in abundance already. Let's find out how they want to finish this ball game.
For the winning team here, Charles, that's about as big and clean of a win as you could hope for in the National Football League. No turnovers. Meanwhile, you forced turnovers. You didn't allow any points, and you put up a bunch of points. What an effort.
And, Brandon, I just have to ask you, that's all the stuff that we saw happen today. Those are statistics, numbers, the whole deal. But my question is, how does one team come ready to play, and the other one, obviously, not ready at all?
Well, I mean, I obviously don't have an answer to that, but that was the story from the get-go. One side was awake and ready, and the other just seemed to sleep.
So for the Panthers, it's a win here in their home opener as they move to 2-0. And they will hit the road next week to take on the Seattle Seahawks. Meanwhile, for the Saints, they'll drop to 0-2, and they'll try to get back to their winning ways next week as they head to Lambeau to take on the Packers. Thanks for tuning in, everybody. Alongside Charles Davis, we thank our entire crew. I'm Brandon Gaudin. This is the NFL on EA Sports.
If you enjoyed the video, please go ahead and click the like button. And if you've not already, please subscribe to the channel and click the bell icon